If you're a teacher, there is bound to have been a day when you walked out of the class knowing that it was awful. It's a horrid feeling, and it happened to me recently, so I thought I'd try and squeeze some lemonade out of those lemons and make a video about it. If you want to know how I think you can get something positive out of what's not a very good situation, then keep watching. I'm Jo Gakonga. I've been teaching for 34 years and training other teachers for 23 of those. I've got a PGCE, I've got the Delta, I've got an MA, I've got a PhD, and I've got a website at elctraining.com where I make training material for English language teachers at all stages of their careers. So you would think that I might know what I'm talking about. But here I am to prove to you that we can all have a bad day. I don't want to go into the particulars of it, it was too painful, but suffice to say I was well prepared, it was material that I knew well, and the learners were lovely. But when I finished the class, I knew that I talked too much, I hadn't given them enough to do, to practice, and in places, to be honest, I just plain confused them. Not great. And I felt terrible about it, actually. I could hear myself giving myself feedback in my head, and believe me, it wasn't nice, it wasn't comfortable. And it didn't go away very quickly either. I found myself brooding on it for days. And this is the rub. Finally, I sat myself down and I thought, here are 3 things to really think about, Jo. Number 1, even as an experienced teacher, it can go wrong sometimes. You can slip into doing things that you know aren't helpful, and it doesn't take much for that nasty inner voice to start telling you that you're just an imposter. It doesn't mean you are. Remember the other days when you had great lessons and when your learners did learn something. Number 2, it's okay. Luckily, you're not a brain surgeon and nobody died. And number 3, learn from it. And this is the only real way, I think, to take something positive from what's a rather negative experience. Try to take the emotion out of it, maybe leave it a day or 2, let it settle. And then really reflect. What actually happened in detail? Why did it happen like that when maybe it hadn't happened like that before? And most importantly, what can you do to change it? What can you do differently next time? So those are my thoughts. Feel free to let me know in the comments how you deal with a bad lesson when it inevitably happens.